So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session we're going to cover, and the last one of this week, is going to be on what's new in BMC Helix Digital Workplace. So this is 23.303. Today I'm joined by Deepak Rudra, who will do his introduction shortly, our Principal Product Manager. And we also have his co-host, which is Kaf, who has also joined us on other webinars and also presented. So Kaf is also our Product Manager for EMEA, so he will be working in the Q&A today to answer any of your questions. So just on that note, as a reminder, if you do have any questions during these presentation slides and also our demo, please put them into the Q&A section of Zoom. We will answer those as the presentation goes along, and then we should have roughly 10 minutes to 15 minutes at the end where we will answer your questions live if there's anything left in the Q&A. Another reminder is, because this is a roadmap session, we just want to cover our legal notice. So if you can just take a minute or so to read this. We're obviously presenting a lot of futures here, so there's no guarantee that it will make it into our product, but obviously we endeavour to get a lot of our future releases into this. So with that, I'm now going to hand over to Deepak to get us started on the agenda, and just a reminder to use the Q&A. Over to you, Deepak.
Thank you, Sam. And thank you everyone for joining. It's going to be a pretty exciting session, and we have a lot of stuff to really cover in today's session. So here is the agenda. We're going to be looking at what's new in latest release of Digital Workplace, and the version is 23.303. We're going to be seeing a demo of all the new features. Bonus for those who will still stay after the demo, we're going to be talking about the future roadmap, which is our 3 to 6 months future roadmap, right? So you'll have a sneak peek into what BMC's future investments are and how could you be benefited out of it. And then we'll have Q&A, but nothing stops you from asking Q&A from the chat. And I have my best colleague, really Kaf, my counterpart. He's there to help us out. And I'll be presenting most of the times today. So let's get going into the agenda. So as a reminder, what you see on the left hand side, that's when the feature is generally available. It's going to say generally available or limited or controlled availability, and at the bottom you'll see the version number. We'll specifically be talking about 23.303. We just got released a few weeks back. So as you all know, you have seen already HelixGPT in action. That's GenAI enabled solution for employee self-service across different BMC products, and Digital Workplace is the one of the leading products which is including that for employee self-services. First use case that we presented to everybody was chat with your knowledge, and we are further enhancing it. In the previous releases, you had option to really get the knowledge filtering done based on the role-based access, but also in this release, starting this release with Helix Knowledge Management by Comaround, from that source, you will be able to do the dynamic knowledge filtering, which we already kind of had before with the studio pages, that you will be able to tailor knowledge according to the foundation data of the person. But with this release, the search from HelixGPT will be also be able to honor that, and you will be able to filter the knowledge based on the individual's foundation data. One such example is by the region. If you want to give HR policies by the region to only to that person, you can just dynamically read anybody's region and be able to retrieve the knowledge and present the knowledge. The next thing that you're going to see now with, as you've seen already in other GPT models and other products, is really the output formatting is the key, really, because you would like to take that data and be able to use it in your slides or be able to copy paste that data, really. So we are looking extensively, not just giving you a blurb of text, but also making it more meaningful with bullets, with highlights, and not highlights, but bullets at least, and the font sizes, so that it's easily accessible from the people, those who have difficulty in reading, also in basically breaking it down into the logical information and not just giving you the entire paragraph to read. And we'll see a demo of all of those. The other advancement that we have done is with this release, HelixGPT is now going to be getting you the results in the chat based on the locale, really. So if you ask, if your browser locale is set to, let's say, German or Swedish, and you ask information on a knowledge article, you're going to get it in your preferred language. There are also options that you can write your own custom prompts and then be able to enforce that always give me answer in language which I ask question, right? In which I ask the question. So let's say if you ask, even though your language is Swedish and you ask for English, you can customize the prompt, or you can add your own prompt and say, show me it in the language I ask the question, right? And we'll see the demo of it. Also, the system messages, they are all now localized really, and I'll show you the form and the place where you can actually go and change those. So we'll take a look at it. The other thing that we've been talking to a lot of customers is the quantity really for any of your catalog items. So we have received a lot of feedback from you all that quantity is not relevant every time. And sometimes even the quantity is one, you have no other option than to show it, right? And you would like really your end users to fill in the quantity as a form of the question, really. So let's say you want to reset a password, quantity is not valid really in that case, right? Or you want really, you are asking for how many laptops do you want? You are basically asking a user as a question. So now we give you the functionality to hide the quantity completely from the catalog item as well as from the bundles. And we'll take a look at it. How does it impact and does it impact you from the reporting perspective? There are none really. So it's an opt-in feature really. If you opt for it, you're going to get it. Otherwise, you continue to work the same way. And a step ahead in our internationalization, where we are trying to bring more and more locales and support for more locales in our product, and also localizing each screen or each area in the product. So now the checkout strings and the add to cart, save for later, all of those strings, so submit button, checkout button, all of those can be easily localized in all the languages. And also the localization is all included and summarized into one single screen. So you will see a revamped screen altogether, giving you option to really localize each or change the labels of each of those fields. It's going to be a one single place. You don't have to really switch between the screens as an admin to do that. And we also have a lot of reset functionality so that you don't lose out of the box things once you are done. And it's it's self-serviceable, that you click on one reset and you can do it on that particular locale or everywhere on all the locales that you have. So another feature to help employees and your employees really be more efficient and then be able to identify what they did before is, you never had this functionality of autocomplete. It's gonna be, as you type ahead in the search, it's gonna look up to your previous search histories. Okay, when what I mean by previous search history, it's gonna be stored in the browser, and it's gonna be last 50 searches really. So as you type ahead, you're going to get recommendation from the browser, and it's not actually directly from the database at this point. But as you type ahead, it's going to highlight what you searched before, and you would start seeing these other things that I searched before and can easily pick up from that list. We had already done a session before in detail about migration of the old conventional catalog, which was SRM, to native DWP catalog before. And then if you need, you can ask for the link, but it's already on the communities. We had done like 1.5 hour session last time. Sam can provide the link again, but I'm not going to go into the detail and demo of it. But using this functionality, um, you can convert all your SRDs into DWP catalog, and then there are certain license type that you really need on different flavors of Helix on-prem or SaaS in order to get that. But it's a downloadable utility that you can download. So I highly recommend looking at it and looking at the webinar if that's one of your needs. Now we'll go into the demo, and then after the demo, we'll start looking into the future roadmap. Okay. And I'll try my best to cover all the scenarios that I just basically highlighted. All right, so I'm on the studio page, and this is a new studio page, the sample page that you have with new brandings, right? That we are trying to get you out, with the new brandings that you can basically download and use. But then let's start taking a look at it. This is a studio page where I have the search enabled by HelixGPT, and I've completely disabled the normal search that you had in DWP. So I'm looking, let's take a look at human resources. And before I do that, let me quickly change the language. So I can first show you in English, and then we go into respective locales, and then we look at that use case. Okay, so I'm logged in right now as a user, Alan, who who's basically going to his landing page. Right now it's IT Central, but he wants to really go into the human resources and ask a question about, what is the maternity leave policy. So it launches Helix GPT, and as you can see, Helix GPT is just trying to get the results and trying to go through the knowledge sources. And as you can see, it started streaming already. So you don't have to really wait a few minutes for GPT to generate a response for you. It can actually get you the results quicker, and then in a streaming, right? Also, as you can see, the result, it's actually a knowledge article comprising a lot of information, but here you see you have bullet points, and then you have right formatting, so that it becomes more understandable and easily consumable for your end users, right? Then this was about streaming. Let's go to the IT Central. We'll take a look at another aspect of formatting, really. So now this person wants to really say, how do I flush the browser cache, right? It's again going back to the knowledge source and trying to get you the result. You will see streaming happening again. Also, it's trying to get you all the variations of the browsers through which you can actually flush your cache. It's coming from a knowledge article at this point. So as you can see, you have reference to a knowledge article, and then everything is properly formatted. You have bullets and you have the headings. So it becomes really easy and consumable for anybody using this. Now, what if you want to really get more specific about a particular browser? Now this person has a Firefox. They say, oh, it's too much of information. I really want to know about Firefox. So then it says, can you give me the steps for Firefox and for each browser version that you support, and give it to me in the table format. So now you can ask LLM to give you results in a specific format. So let's see how it works. Okay. So as you can see, the same results, but in more detail, same knowledge article. It went in and then created a table out of it, where on the left hand side I have Firefox versions, various version, and it basically changed the steps to clear the cache on each of those, right? And as an organization, you can easily, because it's in table structure, just copy paste and use it anywhere. We'll also introduce those features to directly copy the responses in the later releases, but right now I just wanted to show how you can be benefited by telling LLM that I want result in this particular format. Okay. This will be also be applicable in the future releases when you start looking at your approvals, when you start looking into your into your requests and start asking for the list really. Okay. So um, that's pretty much it about this feature. Now we'll quickly go to the looking at the filtering really. So as I said before, um, I'm logged in with Alan right now, and this person, I'm counting on the region of this person. So I have knowledge articles in com around, which has tag of region. Okay. So specific knowledge articles tailored to people of those particular region. So I'm logged in with Alan right now. I would like to see, what is a vacation policy. Okay. So I'm going to go to my human resource page. And for policy, I know that I need to go to my employee corner. So I'm just going to go quickly to my employee corner. Just to reiterate, um, as I said in the beginning, in Combaround, you have dynamic filters which support your foundation data, filtering on your foundation data. Some of those are company, department, knowledge set. If you're using business workflows, it is lines of businesses, region, site, support group. So you got comprehensive list of items through which you can actually filter the knowledge. So I'll show you how it is done. But before that, let's see the results first, right? So I ask, what is the vacation policy, right? Helix GPT is just going and searching according to my region, and it starts to get me the knowledge, right? So now, as you can see, I have a lot of knowledge article for each region, but it specifically got me for Sweden because I belong to Sweden, okay, as this user. Same example, let's take example of another user who's Liam, okay. Let's refresh this. Liam belongs to United States, really, in the foundation data, okay. And then Liam is on the same portal and asks the same question: what is the vacation policy? Expectation is Liam gets it from United States and does not get any other country specific results, right? That's what your intention is really. So as you can see now, you have the result from for holiday policy in United States because Liam belongs to United States, right? And that's how you can tailor knowledge according to how your people are set up and give them most meaningful information rather than giving them tens and hundreds of knowledge article and saying, okay, go and figure it out yourself. Okay. So that's how we are making employees journey and a day in life very easy and more productive. Now, how it is done, all of this is done really. Okay. Let's take a look at it. So you all saw that I had a page, a studio page, and I'm talking specifically about the knowledge filtering. When you enable Helix GPT, in the search, you can call out you can say, I want search, the old conventional search or Helix GPT. I opted to only show you Helix GPT. That is because that is our way forward. So that's why it was only giving you results for Helix GPT. And I had basically selected a skill that I wanted to use. Okay. And here I have all the sources that are from where I wanted the knowledge. In this case, I had a filter. Really, I actually used one of the filters and I'll show you the filter really. So this was for studio page if there was a search, but for Helix GPT, um, what you really need to do behind the scene is when you go to innovation suite and you go to the cogwheel and the settings, you have something called as search filters under knowledge management, and then this is the filter that I'm using right now. So it's getting me all the knowledge articles from Helix knowledge management by Comaround based on LOB, which is HR. So that means my articles which are tagged as LOB is HR, line of business as HR, and it's actually getting my region. So if I click on it, you can have multiple of those. Let's see, let's type. Yeah, I mean, you can have all of these basically populated. For some reason, it's not coming up right now, is because maybe I'm just connected to a test system. But get region, get company, get department. Those are the predefined filters that we have shipped out of the box, and you're doing the AND operation. So it's basically looking for any knowledge article which has tag of LOB as HR and dynamically getting your region from CTM people form. Okay. And I hope this is clear right now. So once I have this defined in the Helix GPT manager, when I go to digital workplace, because that's a product where you want this to happen, I already showed you, I associated a Helix GPT skill. So I'm going to select that particular skill. And in that skill, I have search settings. So for all the sources from where I'm getting the information, I have Helix knowledge management by Comaround. At the same time, I'm also getting knowledge from RKM, also from business workflows knowledge management. Here I can add a filter. And it's asking for the predefined filters, which I just showed you before that you can define. So you can easily select that filter and add it here. The moment you add it, anywhere on any page or any place where you call that skill, it's going to start honoring that filtering for Helix knowledge management by Comaround. So now I showed you top to bottom approach. Now let's go back from bottom to up. So you already add a filter, you have a skill. Now any portal or any page from where you want users to search specific knowledge or restrict knowledge according to the region, you just go and associate that skill and you're done really. And important thing is that you have the source really, right? The knowledge source defined. So that's how you can really tailor what your end users see according to their foundation data. All right. I hope this was informative. And if you have more questions about knowledge management, how you do the tagging and all, we have it's a separate product. We can always discuss about that. And there is a separate PM. And I'm hoping that there are already sessions done on this, so we can refer you to some of those sessions. Now, circling a little bit back on localization, right? I showed you a slide where everything can be localized. So let's turn this user right now into a different locale. So Alan, as you know, right now default is English. So Alan is in English US right now, but can always go and change locale under preferences. So right now, for simplicity, I just changed this person to German. Okay. And then assume this person is logging in German. Okay. And you don't want to show this person English knowledge articles or the search results in English. So now, as you can see, because my browser is in English, it's giving me option, but I would just stick to German. The reason you don't see this page in German right now because I did not translate it specifically for this demo. But once you start searching, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna pick up your locale from your settings really. So then I ask same question again. how to flush cache in browser. Okay, I'm asking in English, but let's see what is the response. All right, so you can already see the translation, date formats, and you can already see everything in the product is already localized. Okay, so you can see now the response is already generated. You saw same example in English. Now you saw the same example in German. I don't, as a matter of fact, I don't have a German translated knowledge article for this particular KA. It's actually referring to the English KA. And LLM is intelligent enough. I'm passing the information that this is my language preference in DWP, translated to this one, and LLM is intelligent enough to really translate that knowledge article on the fly and is able to give me the result back in German. Though one you may ask me then, Deepak, why do I have still the link source link here as English? Because there is no KA really with German. We are looking at possibility in the future to even translate this link, but as you all know, it's a vector database and it basically indexes what you have in the system. So the referential link is actually to the original KA, which is in English. So you're going to click on it and it's still going to show you the English version, but that's the power of LLM, right? Your article was not in English, not in German, but it's still translated. All right. Now, you may ask me that what if I want to change some of these system messages? Yes, we are giving you the option starting this release. So if you are familiar, let's circle back, let's go back. I don't want to take you directly to this form. Um, Helix GPT Manager, if you are entitled to use Helix GPT, you will go into Helix GPT and then you will in the application, and then you'll start looking at the record definitions. Um, you will see a schema name messages. The original name is, let's see, system messages. Okay, this is what you're looking at in order to localize it. So when you edit the data, you're going to see system messages that we have defined for Helix GPT. These are the ones which are actually there, and then these can be changed really. So let's say unable to help really. You want to change that completely. Okay. It says, sorry, I can't help you. Please try again. Now you can change that really. So you have the option to localize this message into each locale. By default, we ship all of this for each of the locales, okay, that we support. If you were to change really, you can just go ahead and make the changes and save it, and it's going to directly get reflected into your, your Helix GPT screen. So for all the system messages that are returned by Helix GPT, in order it's not able to find out, or it's able to find out and say how was my performance, we'll keep adding more and more messages, system messages here, and start localizing. You want to change it, you feel free and go ahead and change it and save it. All right. Now circling back to autocomplete a little bit. Okay. I said it's not getting you result from the dynamically from the backend. It's actually getting you result from your browser history. So that's something that you need to remember. That's how the autocomplete is going to happen. So I'm just switching back this user to English. Okay, and then it's my search bar, right? It's the search bar that you just saw before. And now I can ask, like, really, if I just came in, I don't remember what I just searched yesterday, I just say flush cache. So now you can see as I type ahead, it actually went back into my previous search histories and was able to retrieve it. But remember, it's only last 50. As you keep searching more, the old one gets replaced. So the last one are, first in, first out, really, that gets removed, and the next one, what you search, gets added here. And it's actually picking up from the browser, and it's basically searching from those strings, really. So more you type to search, it's going to get into your history, top 50, and you will be able to still retrieve that. Okay, so this was about the autocomplete functionality. Now, going back to what we discussed about the quantities, really. Okay, I'm going to show you an example where a lot of you have really asked us the need for the quantity. You don't need really in certain services. Now it's configurable per service. So for example, PC refresh logically is just one quantity. You don't need to really ask user, give me the quantities for PC refresh. No, it's one PC. You're gonna ask the asset and then gonna do the PC refresh. So let's take an example of today's behavior. You have the quantity which is non-editable, and it's annoying to a lot of you, really. So what we have done here, let's take example of this particular service. So I'm in digital workplace catalog. I'm gonna look at PC refresh service, and I am gonna look at cost and quantity. Now you have a toggle that's going to be available to you with min and max quantity. So right now you had min and max as one. Definitely it's not editable because that's a max you want. But what if you want to hide it, right? The moment you turn this off, as I said, it's an opt-in functionality. So for your upgrade scenarios, you will not be impacted. It's still going to be, if you were using one, you will be automatically opted in. This will be set and it will be one and one. And if you had more, it will be set here. You don't need to really worry. But what if you want to remove this completely, right? So thus you can just turn this off for this particular service and save and approve and publish. And while this is happening, let's leave the checkout screen. Let's see, it is published. Yes, it is. And I'm gonna quickly refresh the screen so I don't have anything cached. And I'm just showing a PC refresh. Quantity is gone. All right. So places where you don't need to really show the quantity, you can easily control it with this particular setting, and it's per catalog item setting. Also, a lot of you have come back to me saying I usually ask quantity as a question, which is fine. Like I totally understand. For example, if I just take example of guest Wi-Fi access, even I mean, I have quantity here, but I'm asking number of guests or companies. I have quantity here, honestly, right? So it makes sense. So we are giving you that flexibility to disable it as you need. Now, what happens on a bundle level, right? So if you look at a bundle, and those of you who are not familiar with a bundle, it's a grouping of things that you can request together as one particular request, and each of them spin up on, it's basically an order, and each of them is actually one single catalog request raised behind the scene. Okay. Here I have quantity of the bundle and I have quantity of individual service. So a lot of you had complaints about, okay, even if I change it to two, these do not change really behind the scene. And I do understand, yes, that was a matter of concern for a lot of you, and you did not need quantity. When you're getting a new on board, you can have quantity here that you can actually raise one request for two people. Um, but at the same time, you only want, you do not want to have quantities here specifically, right? Just throwing out an example, it could be different in your case, right? So, or it could be just by default it has to be one and one. You don't need to really show quantity because it is confusing your end users. So right now, today's behavior, you have item quantity. If it was more, then you can basically select. Right now it's one, you don't need to show, as I said. Okay. So what you can do, you can again go back to catalog, and let's see the name, onboard new hire, and you have cost and quantity. Now what you can do, you have full control over what you would like to do. If you would like to hide it on the bundle level, you just hide the quantity on the bundle level. Your end users won't even see the quantity option at all. And if you want to change the quantity on each of the service, you can do that. But if you want to hide it, let's hide it. Let's hide everything, right? So assuming everything is one, really. Okay. So let's approve and publish it. All right, let's go back, refresh. All right, so you have a bundle for new onboarding. The quantity is gone, and the quantity is gone from here. Okay. But at the same time, you're not losing the old functionality. When you pull the request, like from reporting perspective, the quantity will still be there. It's just that it is hidden from the screen. So it doesn't confuses your users. All right. So you have full flexibility that you can configure it per service level and per bundle level on the more granular level. All right. So we are done with this. The next thing that I wanted to show you is now the localization. So you have this request now, add to cart, and when you do request now, you have submit request, save and close. You all were asking us, this does not resonate well with your overall end user experience. You need power to change that, right? Um, So we listen to you guys, and then here are the changes, really, right, in this release. So if you, in order to make that change, you need to log in as Digital Workplace DWP admin, and you have label customization. Okay. So as I mentioned, the entire UI is revamped. On the left hand side, you have all the locales in which you can that DWP support. And then the moment you select that, you're gonna get the corresponding localization for each language. So let's see, because I'm in English US right now. You already had this before, make appointments, right? And then search bar, and then events. You had this before. What is new really? One is this UI and the functionalities of the UI, also this particular section. Okay, you never had this before. So cart, this part basically, add to cart. Okay, I can say, um, or I'll say add to basket. All right. Okay, and then submit. I say order. All right. Or here I should say order now, order, right? And then I say proceed to order, save and close, save for later. All right, I'm going to save this. So I'm essentially in US English, it's done. All right, so let's go back, refresh our screens. Okay. All right. So now you can see the labels are changed, and this is on the global level. So all your catalog items will start showing that now the button label is changed to order. You can have even bigger text. It will just basically flow out, and once you hover over it, it's going to give you a tooltip. So that's available. And then you can see add to basket, but let's click on the order. The next thing that you have is proceed to order and then save for later. So now you have flexibility to change it everywhere, and you can change it per locale really. Now, but again, I feel I'm not happy with this. I just go back and say reset. It asks me, do you want to reset in all locales or in English only? Because I made a change in English, I'm just going to say reset in English. I'm just going to say for each of these setting, and I have one setting to reset it to default, and this will be specifically for this particular locale. By clicking on this, you're not going to accidentally uh, reset all the locales. It's only for this particular screen, right? But here we have given you option to reset in all the locales, right? So you choose that option according to your preference. So I'm just doing it for English, and I'm going to save it, and you will be back to the original one, the out of the box one. All right. All right. So this was about the label customizations. And as I mentioned, the last item we had was the SRD to DWP catalog service migration, which I won't be able to cover right now. It's a very broad topic. We have done already 1.5 hour webinar. You can request for recording if you have not seen it, and Sam or somebody can, us can basically paste it on the chat or can give you as part of the Q&A. So leave your comment if you want to do that. Now, as I promised, I'm going to show you the future. And those of you who stayed with me, that's a bonus. So what's there in the future? There are a few other smaller enhancements, but I want to really give you guys time back and give some time back to Sam to talk about additional resources, and then we take Q&A. So Sam, over to you.
Thank you. I'll be very quick because I'm conscious we've had a very busy
Your
Q&A
voice is
and I've got some.
your voice is little low, Sam. If you
Is
can.
that a little bit better?
Yes, better now.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm very conscious we've had a very busy Q&A already with CAF, so we will take the questions very shortly. So this is just a slide that will also come out. It's additional resources from our documentation team. I'm always working very closely with them and our product managers to make sure that we get you the right content and make it easier for you. So this will come out for you to go and have a look at those links. If we can just go to the next slide, which is about the design partnership. So I work very closely with the UX team for the product team, and also our product managers do. It's really important if you're interested in becoming a design partner. This is just a little bit of the reason what it is, why it's worth joining, and how to start. And our next slide will have a QR code which you can sign up. And when I do send the actual slide where that click here will also be a link that you can follow up. We're trying to get a lot more roadmap sessions out, a lot more product manager webinars. So again, if you're finding all of this stuff useful, including what Deepak was mentioning with the SRD, that was a 90-minute webinar. We do have the links and I will send them out on your thank you email as well. We're very conscious that products are moving forward very quickly, so we would really like to hear your feedback as well. So I think with that, we're going to move to the Q&A. So I'm going to take the first question that we haven't got round to answer. And while I'm doing that, I'm then going to unmute everyone. So you'll have the ability to either raise your hand or put questions into the Q&A, and we'll come through and go through those until on the hour, which will be 5 p.m. BST. So Michael has a question, Deepak and Kath. His question was, you can't use HelixGPT without LLM. So saying it's up to Azure or Google is deflecting an issue. Your product doesn't work with the third party. So if Kath, I think you may have answered a previous question with Michael, if we can just take this as a follow-up and then we'll get to the next question. So I don't know, Kath, if you answered a question from Michael before. Deepak, Kath, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, it was a question that I think was a follow-up. I don't know. Let me see if I can find Michael. Michael, can you hear us? I've just unmuted you.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes. Apologies, I'd missed your previous question. Can you just bring up the concept? So Deepak's obviously up to date because Deepak was focusing on the slides. What your original question was with Kath, and then we can try and get it answered as a team, or at least have a discussion with you.
I mean, the short of it is we're going on a long issue with BMC and Helix with FedRAMP certification for chatbot. You don't support FedRAMP for the old Watson interface, so we had to drop that with the promise that HelixGPT would provide the solution once it's released. We are on the latest version of ITSM AR platform that supposedly supports HelixGPT, but we are on a FedRAMP platform. So HelixGPT will not work because Azure and Google are not FedRAMPed. So when you say that your code is FedRAMPed, that's true, but you still need Azure and Google. So you're only providing half the solution, and saying that HelixGPT is FedRAMPed is not really true because you can't use it without Azure and Google. So my question is, when will Azure and Google be FedRAMPed, and or when are you going to provide your own version of the LLM so that you don't have to rely on the third party?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Kath.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I couldn't get through before. So, Mike, yes, I fully understand your concern there. And the reason I split up the answer in two pieces, I wanted to make this very clear so we could have this discussion. So, right, there are a lot of discussions around this with our customers. And one option is to wait, of course, until Azure or Google are FedRAMP certified and we collaborate with them. There is also some customers that say that AWS Bedrock is probably the one that's going to be first. So that could be an option. And the third option that we have been discussing is, like you say, creating our own large language model and offering that to you as a customer. So that is where we are right now. I don't know what organization you are representing, but I think it would be good if we had a meeting around this with our architects, if you haven't had that already, so we can discuss what is the best option for you, because it is pretty open right now. Most of our customers, I would say 95%, have already an agreement with Microsoft on the Azure data center. So they want that one. We have.
That's fine, but what about all your federal customers?
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
left in a lurch, and that is a large customer base for you.
Yeah, I know.
So
we're working on that, but I would really like to know what is happening in the federal part of the world in the US. I don't know that because I'm in Sweden. But what are you planning on doing in general for this? What is your preferred Gen AI supplier in the future? And I think we should try to support that rather than us deciding what you're doing.
Yeah, Michael, if I can intervene in between.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's one of the topics that we're also working with account managers from the FedRAMP space and the DoD space. I can grab your email address later after this call, and we can have a discussion. I think it will definitely need us to be on a call and several other participants from BMC. We are one of the application consuming it, but there is a whole platform which also needs to work on that. So we can certainly have a call. It's a valid concern. We agree on that. We'll circle back with you on that. I'll grab your email address and we'll reach out to you after this call or later today.
Yeah, I'll connect you. I'll connect you guys. No worries. Okay, thank you, Michael, for your question. So we had another question from Kuldeep. Can the default quantity be set to 0? Can bulk quantity for services be updated? Say, have 500 active services and need a quantity to be 0?
So bulk options, you do not have that. The only option you would have is, as we said, you have to target it really, right? It is pretty targeted per service level. If you find out an innovative way to just do it from the back end, you're welcome to do that. But from the UI, there are no bulk options, as you know already. The other thing is you're saying 0. Kuldeep, if you can come off mute or can explain what do you mean by 0 is because the default has to be 1 because if you're not showing anything, you're still ordering something. So 0 is no number really in that case.
Yeah, I was actually looking for something similar to your DWP notification. So I have global settings where I can have a default settings for all my end users when they're created. So likewise, if I want, there are a lot of services created in our system. Now, can I bulk update backtrack as you answered? No, it's not possible. We'll have to think some way of customizations. But how about new ones? I want to just keep
new
it
ones.
as default
New ones you can, they will be so that's a good question. New ones won't have a quantity at all and will be disabled by default.
Okay.
So new ones is not a problem, but if you upgrade, we don't want to make a change to the existing behavior. So that's where it will be on. And even if you had one, it's going to be one minimum, one max, because you all understand a change in behavior is such a big thing. We do not want to do that. So anything new that you create, you will have the new behavior automatically that you need to know, but anything existing after upgrade, we won't touch that. So your end users won't see a difference unless you go and change it. I would also encourage you putting, as a product, I don't have the option to really give you the bulk update option, but put a idea and I'll also try to see if, I can get some SMEs to help you from the SEAL team perspective. They may help you out in identifying a way to really do it from the back end.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for your question, Kuldeep. Okay, next question was from Harveen. Is there an automated way to translate the DWP services into another language? For example, if the questionnaire needs to be converted to French?
Yeah, so at this moment, we don't have it. Really, you need to get an export and then you get the CSV and then you need to import it and, translate and import it. That's the only option. The whole reason we look at it is we done some of the exercises with other customers about label localization, and we ran into issue because every region in each country dialect changes really. So if we start doing it, you will really get into into an issue where you now need to really audit everything and then go ahead and change it. So that's why auto translation is still a little dicey, right? um, because then you already have something stored in your system and then it takes you a lot of effort to clean that up. So I hope you understand. But again, as of now, there is no other option. You have to export it and translate and import it back really into that CSV.
Harveen, I don't know if you wanted to add anything. I can see you've come off mute. I'm not sure if you've got audio. Can you hear us? I think he's got audio issues. If you want to type in and just let us know if that's answered your question or if you have anything further. Thank you. So Diego has asked a question around migration from AIF from SRM. Is this planned? And
Yeah,
he
so
means to enhance DWP. Sorry.
yeah. So both of these, no. And as I mentioned, I kind of called it out in the beginning, also in the initial webinars. We won't support that because it's a magnitude of customization that's beyond understanding through a utility, really, right? Because now you had workflows, you had custom fields, you were interacting with third party system, you don't know, right? You were doing you were basically calling through filters, some external systems. It's practically impossible to convert that into a native catalog service. So that will always be out of scope. And I would highly encourage that you start looking at, because we're advancing DWP catalog in such a way that we fill the feature parity and you don't have to really create a custom application. So if I was you, I would definitely start looking into the features that we have and see, can I convert AIF into a native catalog service? But you will have to take that approach of doing it manually for now, and I hope you have less number of AIFs, because that is going to consume a little bit of time on your side, really. But do send a feedback on also on the community if you feel there are certain things which are absolutely not non-doable through native catalog service. Then our answer to that is usually an innovation suite app which gives you more functionality. And hopefully down the line in future you'll also have AI enabled authoring of the custom apps in innovation suite, as well as the workflow behind the scene. So that can also elevate a lot of your pressure to write those AIFs. But um, let me know. You can always put it on communities as an idea. We constantly review it or ask a question. One of our SME would take a look at it and understand what is that you can't do really now with the DWP catalog um, authoring that you were able to do with AIF before. And we can help you really and see what we can do. And we'll guide you whether to go for IS app or uh, write a catalog offering.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. Do you have any other questions while you're off mute?
Not anymore. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So we have a couple more questions and then we will close the call. So Andrea's asked a question. Is there ability to customize notifications per request, or is it global?
Okay. So per request, you mean really you want to really get some sort of qualification there, because it's a template, and then you have a template which is picked up on a trigger condition, really. So I need a little bit more clarity there. Do you say that based on the question inside the catalog, you trigger, or the name of the catalog item, you want to have a separate notification altogether?
Andrea, can you hear us? Okay. I saw you wrote another part of your question, so I'll let you read that out to Deepak. Thank you.
Thank you. So yes, to clarify, it would be per service request. For example, our term requests, when they're completed, we'd like to pause those notifications as the undeliverable messages are causing a lot of noise for some of our users. So if we could stop those notifications for that particular request, that would be great.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll have so again, as I said, it's the entire rule of triggering a notification is in your hands, really, with this new notification engine. Again, it's a customization, so I may not be able to answer that right now, but um, what happens is, really behind the scene you have some sort of staging where the record gets entered, and then a trigger process really reads that and then decides what process do, or what sub process do I need to trigger to send the notification out. I think it will be doable. All you want to do is you want to seclude the updates based on certain criteria. Should be doable, but it has to be part of the customization. So stay tuned, Andrea. I definitely say I can, right now I may not have answer even in the immediate future, but when I do the next webinar, I'll probably host another webinar specifically for notification engine. I'll try to cover this aspect if it is possible or not. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Any way that I could get notification when that comes through?
Yeah, Sam, like you got it today, Sam will basically send out that, and then I definitely do another webinar on notifications.